Good day, Cube fans. Necromaniac here. I want to do a small video on the materials that are currently within Cube available. I want to talk about the combinations of the materials, because I've seen some combinations that are quite odd, and some beautiful ones as well, of course. I want to show you how to get a nice combination, a nice set of colors and materials mixed up. There's always a certain feeling to certain types of materials. I can best show you, and not every material is suited for, let's say, a wall, for example. I made like a really messed up wall here. This is like two types of floor tiling. You can see that this is completely off. It looks more like a circus tent than a wall. So this is not how you should use the blocks. You can though. It's up to you, of course, but it's not looking really natural at all. I made also 3 samples of the realms, how I imagined them. This is just a sample material. You can use whatever you want, of course. For this, I used grass as a block. Well, it's kind of ridiculous, but that's the only green color we got at the moment, with some flooring tiles. So this is just for showing the feeling of a material or a combination. Like this is really natural, like tree shapes, wood, bricks with moss on it, so that's kind of the Tuatha side. Also the Viking side, I like it really robust, like big wooden knobs, big wooden beams, the rough stone, dark stone. I really like the contrast on the dark and the light wood. And of course the Arthurians. This is more like a normal castle, like the sturdy wood, the neat bricks, the gray shades. That's kind of what feeling I got with the 3 realms that are currently here. So this is about the materials. I laid out some test walls over here, and I made some cavities into it just to show you some depth in the stones. So this is really like a gray shaded piece. You could use this within like a dungeon or like a imprisonment underneath your keep or something. I don't know. This seems really suited for that, but you can use it for whatever you want, of course. And this combination right here, I would say this is more for like a church or a town, like small houses in your town. And this one over here is kind of messed up. I placed it here with a different reason, which I'll come back to in a sec. And this one is really like as blue as it will be. Like there's a lot of shades of blue in this. This is really nice to have like a big castle with gargoyles on the corners, like like the gutters and stuff like that. This is really classic. I like this combination. I'm probably gonna use this a lot, and it's also really clear from a distance, as you will see in a second. That's exactly why I wanted to show you this one. As you can see, this stone type has a lot of depth to it, which makes the cavities fall into like the background. You don't see them as prominent as the one to the right here. As you can see sharp lines, and it's all kind of vague over here. So be careful what block you're selecting. Just think about what you want to do with it, because if you want to have a lot of cavities like this, like a lot of cutouts, it's not going to work with this type of stone, as you can see. But this stone is really useful if you want to have something with a high contrast, and that's exactly why I put it the dark and the light colors on top of each other. As you can see the wood is really standing out in opposition with the stones, and it's a little bit less on the other 3 walls. So what you can do with a high contrast is basically take advantage of it if you want to show people something. Like if you have a guild logo built within Cube, you can display it for the others, so they can see, oh, that's their keep, like, you know. And if you have a high contrast, you can see it from miles. I made an example over here. As you can see, I used the white marble with the limestone logo to the left, and you can see what it is now, but if you're gonna be further away, it's gonna be really unclear, whilst this one is really clear, because the colors are really far apart from each other. It's almost black, it's almost white, so you can understand that you can use this to your advantage to really show something on your keep, like a logo, which is really fun, because you want people to show that you build it or your guild build it, so it's a bit of pride in that. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the long and boring walls, like this. As you can see, if there's not much to the walls, they'll get quite boring, because you can see the same pattern coming in the blocks over and over, and you can try to break that up and make it a little bit more interesting. You can do that by a lot of subtle changes, and you don't even have to use different materials. You can just go with cavities, bumps, like I'll just show you a couple. I laid out 3 walls over here, which I'll be showing you some examples. I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit so you don't have to go through all the building stuff. Just enjoy the time lapse, and I'll be back to you soon. Alright, here we are again. Well, as you can see, I had quite some fun there. Like you can see, I made some samples with the beams, with the wooden beams. You can just have some knobs on it, or sharp edges, or you could just have, like, well, you can basically do whatever you want with it to make it a little less boring. So this is up to you. This is just a couple of examples. You can go like forever with the combinations to play with. So up to you. And this is another thing which is really fun to do. As you can see, I brought a little bit of the upper wall back into the lower wall by just using this V shape. Or you could go like a really deep V shape, or it doesn't has to be a V shape. You can make it a square as well. Like you can do a lot with this, and you can make walls less boring like this as well. If you have like every 10 blocks you have one of these or something. This is a little bit more advanced. As you could see, there's some other blocks involved, but this is really neat. As you can see, it's really rounded. This is really smooth. So you can see the difference between the two. It's really worth the extra effort. So if you haven't played a lot with these blocks, I suggest just try it. It's not that hard, and you'll figure it out pretty soon. So yeah, that's about the middle one. Now this one is a little bit more interesting, and this is the one I like the most, to just extract blocks and place some figures in back in. When I just made this one a couple of minutes ago, this one surprised me. This one turned out really nice. So that's also why you do this, because sometimes you get like a nice figure out of it, which you didn't expect. So that's really cool to actually do. You could add these to like a cellar or something. You can make them deeper and have like only like 2 or 3 blocks open in the end, so there's like a really long and deep slope in them. So yeah, that's a way to get some action in your walls. And also this one is just freestyle, just remove some blocks. You can go diagonal as well. If you remove some blocks and just put some diagonal blocks back in, you can go the other way around as well. Yeah, and these bombs are really nice as well. I use them a lot on my towers. I like it. They're really robust and they make you feel like you're right in the battle. It's really nice, like reinforced walls. It's really cool. So that's about the walls. There's another thing I want to show you. It's creating cornerstones of your towers and keeps. Like this one is really big, but you can go a little bit smaller for the towers. And what I want to show you is how you can actually create a complete tower within like minutes, while just making one corner of this piece. I usually go for like 10 by 10 or 8 by 8. In this case I went 8 by 8, and I'll be covering like 1/4 of this stone. So I'm going to fast forward again. You got 3 sets of materials, 3 towers. I'll do them really quick. I'll just fast forward a little bit. So well, here we go. You can see the process. Alright, that's the building part. I can show you how they turn out if I just copy them. This is how I usually do a tower, or like the corner piece of a tower. It saves a lot of time. You can just and you get it. You end up with shapes that you never done if you did it the normal way. So this really creates some shapes that you'd be surprised of. So we'll start with the first one. I think this is the most interesting one. I think I like it a lot myself as well. So we'll go for this one first. I think everything is selected. Oh yeah. Yeah, this one is awesome. I'm quite surprised with the outcome on this one. As you can see, it's really pointy. I like it a lot. It's awesome. So that's the first tower. And you can make adjustments later on if you want to say keep this point going downwards. You can always change it later on. And it's smart to do it with just one corner, and you can copy them once you adjusted them. So let's go to the second one. I had this idea in my mind for quite a while with those. Yeah, with those. I'm not quite sure what they're called in English, but You know what I mean. Oh yeah, this is awesome as well. I like it. Just for the record, I didn't make these shapes up beforehand. I just created them in the video as you saw it. So I never made these towers, and if I delete them now and I try to do them again tomorrow, they'll be completely different, because that's the fun thing about doing it like this. You end up with another tower every time, because you can simply not redo all the steps perfectly. You can remember all those, unless it's really simple, but let's assume it's not. Alright, turn them. Alright, there they are. 3 really different looking towers, due to the materials, due to the shapes. You can go nuts with these. You can just basically make anything you want. It's I don't know, it's really creative to do, and yeah, just try it once. It's really easy. Alright, that's it for the towers. There's one more thing I want to talk about regarding the materials. That's the patterned materials, like this, the flooring, the shaped flooring. Those textures are really nicely done. This, for example, would make a really great entry for a church hall or something like that. Stones are really nice, and the good thing about it is that they kind of made the shapes matching with the blocks you got. I'll show you what I mean. If you take this, as you can see, the corner of this pattern is also the corner of the stone, so that gives you like a little room to play with. I'll show you what I mean. We're going to be fast forwarding again for this part, so enjoy the music. And there you have it. As you can see, I made use of the colors of the floor and the matching tiles of the floor. So you can create like hallways. This is just a really small usage, but you can do whatever you want with it. Well, you can play with it as much as you want. Same with this one. As you can see, the blocks are exactly the same as the tiles. So, for example, on this one, if you don't like the red tiles, but you do want to use this for your bathroom floor or whatever, you can just delete them. And there's another tile floor over here, which has these same properties as this one, and you can just get rid of those ugly red stones, or you can make your own pattern, and you can just place them back in like this. And now you don't have the red tiles anymore, so you can actually fix those floors to wherever you like. As you can see, it's all fixed. So that's another thing you could do with the textured materials. So, well, that was kind of it for today. I hope you liked the video. Well, I'll be talking to you soon with something else.